£240,000 sat in the bank account when Lawrence Stroll bought this team out of administration in 2018, paying $117 million for the whole operation. 7 years later, Adrian Newey runs that same team as principal with Honda as an exclusive works partner and facilities that rival any operation on the grid. This is either the most perfectly constructed championship bid in F1 history or a very expensive lesson in what money cannot buy, and the answer depends on one thing most fans completely overlook. What separates Aston Martin from every other well-funded midfield team that promised to challenge for titles comes down to three elements that have never existed together before. Spending money is the easy part, and plenty of teams have done that without results. Combining the right pieces at the right moment is where championships get won. 14 Drivers' Championships and 12 Constructors' Championships came from cars Adrian Newey designed, adding up to 25 world titles. 223 Grand Prix victories carry his fingerprints, and no other designer in F1 history comes anywhere close to those numbers. Honda's record as an engine supplier includes 6 Constructors' Championships and 6 Drivers' Championships, powering Ayrton Senna, Alain Prost, and Max Verstappen to titles across different eras. The 1988 McLaren-Honda combination won 15 of 16 races that season, a dominance record that stood for decades. Lawrence Stroll finished building a 40-acre technology campus with a brand new wind tunnel that became operational in March 2025, and that facility changes the development equation entirely. Any single one of these elements makes a team interesting. All three arriving at once makes rivals genuinely nervous. The timing matters most here, because 2026 is not a normal season. 2026 brings the most comprehensive rule change since the turbo hybrid era began in 2014, with both chassis and power unit regulations changing at the same time. That combination has never happened before in F1 history. Shorter cars, narrower dimensions, and 30 kilograms less weight define the new formula. Downforce drops by roughly 30%, while drag falls by 55%. Here is the change that matters most for understanding why teams are worried. The power split between engine and electric motor flips completely. Right now, about 80% of power comes from the internal combustion engine and 20% from the electric motor, but 2026 changes that ratio to 50-50. The MGUK output nearly triples, jumping from 120 kilowatts to 350 kilowatts, which fundamentally alters how these cars behave on track. History proves that major regulation resets shuffle the competitive order in dramatic ways. Mercedes committed early to the 2014 formula and immediately dominated with 16 wins from 19 races. Red Bull capitalized on ground effect rules in 2022, while Mercedes struggled to find performance. Aston Martin is betting everything that 2026 becomes their version of Mercedes' 2014 moment. Most people miss this part of the story entirely. May 24, 2023 marked the announcement of a works partnership between Aston Martin and Honda starting in 2026, representing the first factory engine partnership in the Silverstone team's entire existence. 15 years of running as a customer team ended with that announcement. Mercedes engines powered them for all that time, but what comes next offers something completely different. Work status means direct factory support, priority in power unit development, and closer integration between chassis and engine teams. The question everyone asked was why Honda chose Aston Martin instead of staying with Red Bull, and the answer came down to Red Bull's decision to build their own power unit company with Ford. Honda president Koji Watanabe explained the situation directly, saying that Red Bull's choice to make their own engines meant there was no room to continue working together. Lawrence Stroll's factory investments and leadership impressed the Honda executives, who described him as having strong passion and determination to fight for the World Championship. This partnership makes Aston Martin Honda's exclusive F1 customer, not a shared arrangement where multiple teams receive the same hardware. Exclusive access changes everything about development priorities. The last time Honda maintained a true works relationship with a team, McLaren dominated the late 80s and produced one of the most successful eras F1 has witnessed. And that's when the question becomes whether Honda can recreate that magic with their 2026 power unit. Honda's 2026 power unit development has fallen behind schedule, and that reality casts a shadow over all the optimism. January 2026 brought a public admission from Watanabe that development faced serious challenges, with his exact words being that they need more time to hit internal targets, because everything proves very difficult. That kind of statement 3 months before the season starts is not the confidence you want from your engine partner. Reports emerged suggesting Honda may have missed a compression ratio interpretation that Mercedes and Red Bull powertrains allegedly exploited, and if that proves accurate, a power deficit could exist from the very first race of the season. The homologation deadline arrives at the end of February 2026, which means whatever Honda has at that point becomes what Aston Martin races with for the foreseeable future. This risk balances all the optimism surrounding the project. Newey can design the fastest chassis on the grid, but a power unit down on performance creates a deficit that aerodynamics cannot overcome. March 1st, 2025 marked Adrian Newey's official start date at Aston Martin, following an announcement on September 10th, 2024. The detail that sealed his decision had nothing to do with salary. Newey received an equity stake in the team, reported at around 2.5%, which based on current valuations works out to over £50 million in ownership. His explanation captured why this mattered so much, saying that having the chance to become a shareholder and partner represented something never offered to him before. The choice became natural once ownership entered the picture. £30 million annually over 5 years makes up the reported salary, and combined with the equity stake, the total package approaches £200 million. Lawrence Stroll's response to anyone questioning that price came across as definitive. He called Adrian a bargain and stated that after 40 years in business, he had never been more certain of anything. November 2025 brought the announcement that Newey would take over as team principal from 2026, giving him control over both technical direction and team management in a structure rarely seen in modern F1. Damon Hill won the 1996 title in a Newey-designed Williams and offered his assessment of what comes next. He called Newey the master of seeing through the regulations, noting he had been working on this project for 18 months already. The magic wand over Aston Martin could happen. Other voices deserve hearing as well. Former Aston Martin strategist Bernie Collins provided a different perspective, acknowledging the hype around the new project and factory while predicting a really difficult year ahead for the team. Integration challenges present real obstacles that no amount of money can instantly solve. Newey plus Enrico Cardile from Ferrari, plus Andy Cowell from Mercedes, plus hundreds of new staff members all continue integrating into a transformed organization. The team deliberately sacrificed 2024 and 2025 performance to focus entirely on 2026 development. 280 points earned 5th place in 2023, but only 94 points kept them 5th in 2024. 7th or 8th defined their 2025 campaign. Italian press reported a conceptual rethink after wind tunnel recalibration revealed design issues, and Newey reportedly described the simulator as weak. Lance Stroll himself acknowledged the uncertainty in late 2025, calling the situation a big question mark for everybody. His admission that they do not have all the tools to be a top team came with no attempt to hide behind excuses, only a statement that time will tell. Toyota provides the historical parallel that critics cite most often, with over $3 billion invested from 2002 to 2009, producing 0 race wins. Money alone has never guaranteed F1 success. Skeptics cannot dismiss one concrete advantage Aston Martin possesses. £200 million built the AMR technology campus at Silverstone, covering 40 acres with 3 interconnected buildings totaling 37,000 square meters. The wind tunnel represents the newest purpose-built aerodynamic testing facility anywhere in F1, becoming operational in mid-March 2025. Before this facility existed, the team rented Mercedes' wind tunnel in Brackley. Staff members loaded models into vans and drove along bumpy dual carriageways for testing sessions, a process they described as suboptimal. Their own state-of-the-art tunnel now sits on site, and Newey specifically cited the facilities as a decisive factor in his decision to join. He described what Lawrence Stroll and Martin Whitmarsh built as stunning. 400 employees worked at the team during the Force India era, while over 800 currently fill roles at the new campus, which holds capacity for 1,000. Current position in the constructors' standings actually provides an advantage under F1's sliding scale system, where worse results mean more wind tunnel time. Aston Martin receives more development hours than the top teams, and every single hour goes toward the 2026 car. The answer to whether rivals should fear Aston Martin comes down to timing and execution. The combination of resources, talent, and manufacturer support assembled at Silverstone has no precedent in modern F1 history. The greatest car designer ever, a proven championship-winning engine partner, a brand new factory built for these specific regulations, and a billionaire owner who transformed $117 million into $3.2 billion in value. Acknowledged power unit challenges, integration, complexity with hundreds of new staff, and a simulator, their own technical leader called Week, all exist alongside those advantages. 2026 regulations create opportunity precisely because regulation resets shuffle the competitive order. Mercedes dominated from 2014 after early commitment. Red Bull rose in 2022 by understanding ground effect better than anyone else. Someone will get 2026 right. Adrian Newey finding an innovative solution that others missed, something he accomplished repeatedly across 25 championship titles, could make Aston Martin immediate title contenders. Integration challenges delaying the program would push realistic expectations to 2027 or 2028. The Silverstone team now faces championship expectations that qualify as genuinely credible for the first time in their existence. Not hopes or dreams, but actual realistic targets. That reality explains exactly why every team on the grid watches what happens next with serious attention. If you want to see how this story unfolds when the lights go out in 2026, subscribe and turn on notifications so you do not miss the breakdown of every team's new car as they launch.